The title you've chosen speaks directly to one of the most misunderstood health challenges for seniors. Many people believe belly fat after 60 is simply a part of aging. But medically, we now know that most of this fat isn't just under the skin, it's visceral fat. This is the deep, dangerous fat that wraps around the liver, pancreas, and intestines. And the good news is that it can be reduced faster than most seniors realize. When metabolism slows with age, the body becomes more sensitive to insulin, carbohydrates, and stress. This creates a perfect storm where even small meals can promote fat storage. But what most seniors don't know is that the body remains remarkably responsive even past 60 when given the right signals. The goal is not to work harder, it's to work smarter. The 30-day method I teach begins by controlling the morning hormonal window. That first hour after waking can either switch the body into fat burning mode or fat storage mode. A simple combination of hydration, light mobility, and targeted breathing reduces cortisol and activates internal heat production. This alone begins to melt visceral fat without strain, without heavy exercise, and without stressing the joints. Next, nutrition timing becomes essential. Seniors often eat too little protein and too many comfort foods in the evening. By shifting a portion of protein earlier in the day and reducing late-night snacking, the body finally gets the chance to use stored fat for energy. Even a 10% shift in nutrient timing can lead to measurable waste reduction in 30 days. Movement is the third pillar, but it does not need to be intense. In fact, high-impact workouts can work against seniors by increasing inflammation. Instead, gentle chair exercises, slow core activation, and simple standing routines restore muscle signaling. When muscles re-engage, visceral fat begins to release much faster. Studies show that even 10 minutes of controlled movement daily can reduce waist circumference in a month. The fourth component is sleep and evening wind down. Many seniors underestimate how much poor sleep accelerates belly fat accumulation. A calm, predictable bedtime routine lowers inflammation and resets appetite hormones. This is why some of the most dramatic transformations come from seniors who simply improve sleep quality, not exercise intensity. The fifth part of the 30-day method is hydration with electrolytes. Dehydration is extremely common after age 60 and slows fat breakdown. Small, consistent hydration throughout the day supports digestion, improves energy, and prevents unnecessary snacking driven by thirst. Finally, the sixth principle is mindset simplicity. Seniors don't need complicated challenges, strict diets, or intense routines. They need clarity, safety, and small, repeatable habits that the body can follow. When seniors stop chasing extreme programs and begin following a method designed for their age, the results happen faster than they expect. The body is not too old. The metabolism is not broken. It simply needs the right combination of timing, movement, and calm. And when those pieces come together, dangerous visceral fat can shrink visibly in 30 days, safely, naturally, and without pain. This is the truth behind senior health. The body still wants to heal. It just needs a chance. Most people over 60 gain dangerous belly fat because metabolism slows and hormones shift. But the process is far more complex than simply eating more or moving less. As the body ages, it naturally begins to lose lean muscle tissue, and muscle is the engine that burns calories even at rest. When muscle decreases, the number of calories burned throughout the day drops, even without any noticeable change in daily activity. This creates an internal imbalance where the body stores more energy than it uses, and the easiest place for that storage becomes the deep belly area. At the same time, several key hormones that once helped regulate weight begin to decline. Growth hormone, responsible for tissue repair and metabolic activity, drops significantly. Testosterone and estrogen shift in ways that reduce muscle preservation and increase fat retention. This combination alone changes how the body handles calories, even when food intake stays the same. The sensitivity to insulin also changes with age. Insulin is the hormone that manages blood sugar, and when the body becomes less responsive to it, more sugar ends up stored as fat rather than being used as energy. This is one of the main reasons seniors struggle with stubborn fat that seems unaffected by dieting. Cortisol, the stress hormone, plays a major role as well. As sleep quality declines and life stress becomes more difficult to manage, cortisol rises. Higher cortisol encourages fat storage around the abdominal organs because the body interprets stress as a signal to conserve energy. This visceral fat becomes active inside the body, influencing inflammation, blood pressure, and glucose levels. Digestive efficiency also declines with age, meaning the body absorbs nutrients differently, and often more slowly. The gut microbiome shifts in a direction that supports inflammation, cravings, and slower fat metabolism. Seniors often experience bloating, irregular digestion, and stronger cravings without understanding that these gut changes directly impact belly fat accumulation. Even reduced physical activity contributes, not just because fewer calories are burned, but because muscles become less responsive and stop signaling the metabolism to stay active. The encouraging truth is that these changes are not permanent barriers. With targeted habits that support muscle signaling, hormone balance, and digestive health, the body can begin releasing stored visceral fat even after 6 to. Visceral fat is the real threat. It wraps around organs and increases risks, but many people don't realize how different it is from the soft, pinchable fat under the skin. Unlike subcutaneous fat, which mostly affects appearance, visceral fat hides deep inside the abdominal cavity, surrounding the liver, pancreas, intestines, and other vital organs. This location makes it far more dangerous because it behaves like an active organ itself, constantly releasing chemicals, hormones, and inflammatory signals into the bloodstream. These signals interfere with normal body functions and quietly increase the risk of serious health problems. As visceral fat grows, it produces inflammatory compounds that make the body resistant to insulin, forcing the pancreas to work harder and making blood sugar harder to control. This is why many seniors notice rising glucose levels even when they haven't changed their eating habits. Visceral fat also affects the liver, increasing the chances of fatty liver disease, which then disrupts cholesterol balance. This leads to higher levels of unhealthy fats circulating in the blood, making arteries stiffer and more prone to plaque buildup. Over time, this increases the risk of heart attack and stroke, conditions that become more common after age 60. The pressure of visceral fat around the organs also affects digestion and breathing. Many seniors feel bloated, low in energy, or short of breath without understanding that the fat inside the abdomen is crowding the organs and limiting their natural movement. Another overlooked danger is how visceral fat affects hormones. It produces its own hormones that disrupt appetite, make cravings stronger, and weaken the body's ability to regulate inflammation. This creates a cycle where visceral fat makes the body store even more fat, especially around the belly. It also interferes with sleep by increasing nighttime discomfort, which raises cortisol levels and leads to even more fat accumulation. What makes visceral fat especially concerning for people over 60 is that it grows quietly. A senior may not see major weight gain on the scale, yet their waistline expands because this fat builds inward instead of outward. The encouraging part is that visceral fat responds quickly once the right habits are introduced. Even small improvements in movement, breathing, nutrition, and sleep can trigger the body to release this harmful fat, improving health, energy, and mobility in noticeable ways. Small lifestyle adjustments outperform intense exercise for seniors because the aging body responds differently to stress, energy use, and recovery. Many people believe that the only way to burn fat or improve health is through hard workouts, but after 60, the body's priorities shift. Joints become more sensitive, muscles take longer to recover, and the heart prefers steady, gentle activity over sudden spikes in intensity. When seniors push themselves too hard, inflammation rises, cortisol increases, and the body holds on to fat as a protective response. This is why many older adults try difficult routines and end up tired, discouraged, or even injured. Without seeing real progress, small lifestyle adjustments work better because they create sustainable signals that the body can follow every day. Light movements throughout the day keep circulation active and muscles awake without overwhelming the system. Gentle morning stretches, slow walking, chair exercises, or light resistance training for 5 to 10 minutes can activate the metabolism far more effectively than a single intense workout. Consistency matters more than intensity because the body over 60 needs repeated cues to stay in fat burning mode. Even standing more often, taking stairs slowly, or doing small household tasks can keep muscles engaged and prevent them from weakening. Diet-related changes also have a big impact when they are small and steady. Instead of strict diets or heavy restrictions, simple adjustments like increasing protein intake earlier in the day, reducing sugary snacks, drinking more water, and having lighter dinners help regulate insulin and cortisol levels. These small changes decrease inflammation and allow the body to use stored energy more efficiently. Sleep improvements, even minor ones, help the body repair muscle and balance hormones that are essential for weight control. The most powerful part of small changes is that they are achievable every day. Seniors do not need to fear exercise or feel pressured to match routines designed for younger people. The body responds best when it feels safe and supported, not stressed or pushed beyond its limits. With gentle habits practiced consistently, seniors experience better energy, less pain, stronger muscles, and steady fat loss. Over time, these small adjustments build a healthier lifestyle that stays with them, helping them move more freely and confidently without the risk that comes from intense training. A 30-day method can trigger metabolic reactivation because the body, even after the age of 60, still has the ability to respond quickly when given the right sequence of signals. Many seniors believe their metabolism is permanently slow, but in reality it has simply become inactive from years of reduced muscle use, hormonal shifts, and slower digestion. A focused 30-day approach gives the body a structured routine that gently wakes up these systems without overwhelming them. The first days of such a method typically involve restoring hydration, improving sleep patterns, and introducing very light movement to reduce inflammation. These early steps create a foundation that allows the metabolism to shift out of its energy-saving mode. As the days progress, small but consistent habits begin to communicate to the body that it is safe to burn, rather than store energy. By the second week, the muscles start responding more effectively. Seniors often underestimate how quickly muscle fibers re-engage, even with simple movements like leg raises, light stretching, or controlled breathing exercises. When muscles activate daily, even at a slow pace, they signal the metabolism to speed up because more energy is needed to support movement. This increases calorie burn without strain and reintroduces metabolic flexibility, allowing the body to switch from burning sugar to burning stored fat more easily. At the same time, digestive improvements begin as hydration, fiber, and nutrient timing help reduce bloating and balance gut bacteria. A healthier gut creates a direct boost in metabolic rate because digestion becomes smoother and nutrient absorption becomes more efficient. By the third week, hormonal balance begins to shift. Morning routines that include light mobility, protein intake, and sunlight exposure help regulate cortisol, insulin, and appetite hormones. When these hormones stabilize, cravings decrease and energy becomes more stable. This leads to fewer spikes in blood sugar and reduces the body's tendency to store fat. The final week is where the most noticeable changes typically occur. With lower inflammation, better sleep, active muscles, and a calmer hormonal environment, the body finally has the ability to release deep, visceral fat. Seniors often see inches lost from the waist, improved digestion, and better mobility by the end of 30 days because the metabolism has been reactivated through gentle, strategic habits rather than overwhelming effort. Gentle movements plus nutrient timing create rapid fat shrinkage because together they send a powerful signal to the body that it is safe to burn stored energy instead of protecting it. Many seniors believe only intense exercise or strict dieting can reduce belly fat. But the opposite is often true. After age 60, the body becomes highly sensitive to stress, and hard workouts or aggressive diets can increase cortisol, slow digestion, and actually encourage fat storage. Gentle movements avoid this stress response while still activating the muscles and circulation needed to wake up the metabolism. Simple actions like slow walking, light stretching, chair-based exercises, or controlled breathing help stimulate muscle fibers without strain. When muscles contract gently and consistently, they pull glucose out of the bloodstream, improve insulin sensitivity, and open the doors to fat-burning pathways. These movements also reduce stiffness, improve joint comfort, and increase overall daily energy, making it easier to stay active without feeling overwhelmed. Nutrient timing works hand in hand with these movements by providing the body with the right fuel at the right moments. After 60, hormones related to hunger, energy, and digestion become less predictable. Eating large meals late at night or skipping protein in the morning makes these hormonal shifts worse. When nutrient timing is adjusted, such as having protein earlier in the day, spacing meals consistently, staying hydrated between meals instead of during them, and reducing heavy snacks at night, the body begins to regulate blood sugar more smoothly. Stable blood sugar means less insulin, and lower insulin means the body is more willing to tap into stored visceral fat for energy. This combination works so well because gentle movement primes the muscles, and proper nutrient timing ensures the body has no reason to store extra energy. Instead, the body begins to release fat gradually throughout the day. Seniors who follow this approach often notice that their waistline shrinks even without intense workouts. They feel lighter, sleep better, and digest food more comfortably because the body is no longer fighting against stress or hormonal imbalance. The fat loss that occurs is steady, safe, and sustainable because the body is being guided, not forced, into better metabolism. Consistency and simplicity are the keys to long-term success because the body responds best to routines it can recognize, repeat, and rely on. Many seniors struggle not because they lack motivation, but because they are given plans that are too complicated, too intense, or too unrealistic for their daily lives. When a routine feels overwhelming, the body experiences stress and the mind begins to resist, making it difficult to stay committed. But when habits are simple, gentle, and easy to practice every day, the body naturally adapts and improves without exhaustion or frustration. Small actions repeated daily gradually reshape metabolism, digestion, sleep quality, and energy levels. These changes compound over time, similar to how small drips can eventually fill a large bucket. Consistency matters because the body over 60 thrives on predictability. Hormones, digestion, and metabolic rates stabilize when routines remain steady. For instance, waking up at the same time each day helps regulate the internal clock, which then influences hunger, sleep, and fat-burning rhythms. Eating at similar times supports balanced insulin levels and reduces cravings. Gentle movement practiced daily trains the muscles to stay active, even if the sessions are short. These predictable patterns teach the body that it doesn't need to store fat as a survival mechanism, which naturally encourages fat release. Simplicity is equally important because complicated diets or intense exercise plans can sabotage progress. A senior doesn't need a strict regimen or a long list of rules to follow. Simple steps, like drinking water first thing in the morning, adding a few minutes of stretching, taking a short walk after meals, or choosing lighter dinners, are far more powerful when done consistently. These habits don't overwhelm the body or mind, so they become part of daily life without resistance. When the process feels easy, it becomes sustainable. Long-term success comes from respecting the rhythm of the aging body and working with it instead of fighting against it. The goal isn't perfection, but repetition. Even if progress feels slow, consistent habits create lasting change. Over weeks and months, these simple actions lead to better mobility, improved metabolism, reduced visceral fat, and greater confidence. The journey becomes smoother, the body becomes stronger, and seniors discover that real transformation comes from small steps done every day, not from occasional bursts of effort. In the end, everything we've talked about comes down to one simple truth. Your body is not too old to change. Even after 60, the metabolism can wake up, the hormones can rebalance, and the dangerous visceral fat that once felt permanent can begin to shrink. It doesn't happen through punishment, extreme dieting, or exhausting workouts. It happens through steady, gentle habits that respect the way the aging body works. When you hydrate, when you move lightly every day, when you fuel your body at the right times, and when you prioritize good sleep and calm breathing, you give your system exactly what it needs to heal and reset. The 30-day method is not magic, it's biology. Your muscles respond when you activate them. Your digestion improves when you support it. Your hormones stabilize when life becomes predictable. And your metabolism reactivates when the body feels safe. This is why small adjustments, practiced consistently, create results that feel big. Your waist begins to change, your energy rises, your cravings fade, and your confidence returns. These transformations are not just physical, they open the door to better mobility, clearer thinking, and a deeper sense of control over your health. If you commit to even a fraction of these steps, your body will meet you halfway. It will respond, it will adapt, and it will improve. You are not at the end of your health journey. You are at the beginning of a new chapter where strength, vitality, and longevity are still within your reach. Your age does not define your limits, your habits do, and now you have the knowledge to choose habits that support your future instead of slowing it down. So take the first step today. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and trust the process. Your body is ready for change, and with the right approach, the next 30 days can lead to a healthier, lighter, and more empowered version of yourself. The best years of your health can still be ahead of you.